Now, we are going to, you know your little San Diego temple. It's nice, it's blissful, beautiful deity, so many things. But we are part of a worldwide society. It is the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Oh, thanks. ISKCON means International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So we recently had a meeting in Houston of our North American leaders. And this was something they asked me to put together. Do we shut that? What do you think? Well, that was quick. I guess so. Thanks. So this is a tour. There's some philosophy, don't worry. But it's a tour of ISKCON around the world. And I think you're going to have fun. You don't get frequent flyer miles, but you get nice kirtan and prasadam afterwards. So that's what we're going to do today. Hello there, young man. So we need you. Can you see this? Yes. Even though I'm sitting right there? Yep. You have X-ray vision? Yep. All righty. And you guys can see, because gradually this room will fill up. There's a direct ratio. I guess I'll finish. It's the number of attendees, this is the ratio, to the proximity of serving prasadam. So you'll see the room will fill up shortly. Yeah, you're safe. No one's going to pick your pocket. Now, in that saffron bag I had, there we go. No PowerPoint presentation is complete without a laser pointer. So let me get my laser pointer. Hey, Govinda. So this picture here, of course, that's Srila Prabhupada, the founder of the Hare Krishna movement. But this is Lord Chaitanya, this is Lord Nityananda, Lord Chaitanya. And I don't know if you can see, but this procession which they're leading winds back and back and back. And there are tens of thousands, if you count in India, which we should, and Russia, there's hundreds of thousands of Hare Krishna members. Hundreds of thousands. If you count in India, you can probably get up to millions. So this is part of the fraternity or society that you belong to. Next. What do we got next? So this is just a sampling. There are something like, I think it's over 650 temples, schools, farms, restaurants, maybe even more than that. And we're all over the world. So they have a saying, you can test if you're cooking rice, you can test the status of the pot by sampling one grain. So we're just going to give you a sampling of what's going on around the ISKCON world. Next. So you see our friend here? He's actually boxed in. And he's got a little cubicle. And they say most people lead lives of quiet desperation. And they've done so many business studies that what motivates people. And it turns out after you have a baseline of income, you know, you can take care of your family, put your kids through college, have health care. It's called the American dream because you have to be asleep to believe it. Nobody's got that in. I'm not many people, the 1%, and the rest of us are slaving away. But what motivates people after getting the baseline covered is, what does their life mean? What is the benefit? There's the old example that you can put you can have a bucket of water, 5-gallon bucket of water, half full. You put your hand in up to your elbow. What happens to the water line? Don't overthink it. Goes up, right? What happens when you pull your hand out? Goes down to the exact same spot. It's as if your arm was never there. Are we meant to just take up some space on the planet Earth, push together a little pile of sustenance, and then kick over? Somebody sent me, and people who send me these things, thank you very much. Somebody sent me a article in Optima. What is it? What do you call somebody who takes care? Mortician's Magazine. There is such a thing. There's a magazine on walking too. You know, one step after another. I don't know what the articles are, but the article in morticians, you know, people who put you into the grave or turn you to ashes. The average person, after they've passed away, within 6 months, people can't remember the sound of their voice. They can't even remember exactly what you look, and those are close relatives. Everybody else, forget it. But they can't even remember what your face looks like. They got to have a picture, and they can't remember your voice. So, you know, what kind of impact? Well, what does, you know, we want to lead a life that has meaning, that has a higher purpose than just sustenance. It's just human instinct. Okay, so here's our friend, you know, boxed in, doing his job. Is that life and all it's meant for? Next. And we get so many advice. Buy this, get that, do this, self-help books, so many things. I love this. I don't know if you can see the sign, but it says, learn to fly here. Whoops. Something went wrong in transmission. You know, they must have missed a clue somewhere. So one man, I was there in Detroit, and he was talking with Prabhupada, and he kept saying, but Swamiji, and we're not talking about going back to the Stone Age or, you know, we're not talking about that. Look, we're using a projector, we've got a microphone, I got a laser printer. We're not rejecting the, you know, but this man kept saying, Swamiji, we're advancing. Swamiji, we're advancing. Prabhupada said, your advancement is like the moth into the flames. The moth is moving, but where's it going? So where are we going? You're going faster, like what is it, of course I don't know if people read these things anymore, but Alice in Wonderland, and there was the Mad Hatter with a stopwatch, late for an important date. Prabhupada said there's only one date guaranteed in our lives. Each and every one of us is guaranteed the same date, and you cannot postpone it. Anyone know what that date is? It's the time of death. You can't avoid it. You can't look in your day timer and say to the Lord of Death, no, Thursday doesn't work for me, you know. Good luck with that. Next. So Krishna says, this is Krishna, of course, and Arjuna. And on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And we can accept that life in many ways is a battle. It's certainly a challenge. And Krishna says at the end of Bhagavad, actually Sanjaya says, that wherever there's Krishna and Arjuna, there's victory, morality, opulence, and extraordinary strength. And Krishna says I think it's in the 10th chapter of the Gita, Krishna says, I'm adventure. So when we become a partner with Krishna and help spread his mission, our life becomes full of adventure and purpose and meaning and value. Okay, next. So this is Srila Prabhupada. How did Prabhupada come to the West? Why? And what is the result? So here is Prabhupada in the Radha Damodar temple in Vrindavan, most holy city in India. And Prabhupada is looking at, he's taking his meal. Okay, good. He's taking his meal and looking out this window. And that window, outside that window in a courtyard below, is the samadhi or the memorial where one of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's greatest advocates, one of the 6 Goswamis, used to sit and chant japa. So Prabhupada is sitting there meditating on the order he got from his spiritual master and meditating on the mercy of Rupa Goswami. You'll understand more in a minute. Next. So this is where his spiritual master, Prabhupada's guru, where the mission, the Hare Krishna movement started. This is a place called Ultadanga. This is, where is Srila Bhaktisiddhanta? Is that him sitting there? That is Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. These are his first disciples, and this is the first ISKCON Hare Krishna temple called Gaudiya Math in Calcutta. Next. Now it's fallen into complete disrepair. Go back. This is the building. Next. It's fallen into complete disrepair. Now Radhanath Maharaj, one of the senior monks of the Hare Krishna movement and one of the great heroes, rallied his friends and followers, and we now own this building. Next. This is what it looked like. The roof had even caved in. The first temple of Prabhupada's spiritual master. Next. It's been completely renovated. This is the same arches, same street. It's been completely renovated. It's beautiful. You can go there and visit next time you're in Calcutta. Next. This is just another example of from the different angle. Next. Now, Prabhupada often related, because we're talking, what is that mission? What is the order that Prabhupada was meditating on? He called it an impossible mission. There used to be a TV show called Mission Impossible. I think they made it into some movies. But the real impossible mission, how was this elderly monk, Prabhupada was 70 plus, old age, not in good health, not any finances, all alone, going to the citadel of materialism, America, and he was going to turn the tide? Good luck. What are the odds of that working out? Mission impossible. So this is Prabhupada, the painting, obviously, and one of his friends, Narendra Mullik. And at that very first meeting, Prabhupada told him, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur told Srila Prabhupada, go to the West. Give this message. They're suffering. You're a young man, you're educated, go. Prabhupada was shocked. He was just newly married, young householder, so many things. So next. Now we saw that renovated Ultadanga, the first Gaudiya Math temple. This is that's the actual site. Now it's renovated. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's bedroom is right here. It's totally renovated. And this is where Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was sitting. And Prabhupada was given that order. Next. This is a bird's eye or demigod's Deva's view. This is where Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was sitting. This is where Prabhupada and Narendra Muluk were sitting. And Prabhupada got this impossible order. Next. And Prabhupada said, I heard him say it, Prabhupada said that his spiritual master, after his guru had passed away, his guru would come to him in dreams and beckon him outside, out of it, get out of your bed, come out of your bedroom, get outside your house. And then in the dream, where Prabhupada's courtyard of his house, then it was the Atlantic Ocean. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Prabhupada's guru, would walk across the Atlantic Ocean in the dream and say, follow me, follow me. So Prabhupada joked, he said, in this way, he gave me no peace. So, and this is the famous meeting in a place called Radhakund. This is Prabhupada with his young son, and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, his guru. He told him, you go to the West, you deliver this mission. And what is the means? His guru told him, if you ever get money, print books. That's because books, you know, what is the pen is mightier than the sword. Next. Lenin never even, Marx never visited Russia. But the communist revolution was there. Okay, next. Okay, just for fun, these are the original deities of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Prabhupada's guru, established at that Gaudiya Math temple. Beautiful deities. They're there now being worshipped expertly. Next. So, you know, people want to come to America. What is it, the Statue of Liberty? Give me your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. People want to come to America. They want to go to Disneyland and Las Vegas. That wasn't Prabhupada's interest. Prabhupada was living in the holiest place in the universe, Vrindavan Dham. It's 3 hours, if you take the Taj Express, 2 hours, 2.5, south of Delhi, but light years away. It's a holy city. And this is what it was like when Prabhupada was there. Prabhupada was living so peacefully, so happily in the holiest of places. But he came to the West for us. Prabhupada's observation when he got off the boat in New York City was that the whole place smelled like dog stool. He was not impressed. So this is old Vrindavan. This is what's called the Parikram path. Okay, next. This is another picture. This is Sanatana Goswami's Madan Mohan temple. This is where the Jamuna River used to flow. You can follow this. It's soft dust. It's very comfortable for the feet. You can walk all the way around Vrindavan. Now it's asphalted and got so many, you know, but this is what Prabhupada left. Next. This is a bird's eye view of the circumambulation path around Vrindavan. Next. This is the Jamuna River. This is the transcendental skyline. We've all seen the skyline of New York City. What is it they say in Chicago? You know, anyway. This is the holy Jamuna River. This is anyway, so many stories. Next. This is Keshi Ghat. If you know Vrindavan, these are all places of Krishna's pastimes. Next. This is Kusum Sarovara, where Narada Muni saw the Ras Leela. Next. This is Radhakund, the holiest of holies. This is where Prabhupada was instructed by his guru. If you ever get money, write books. Next. This is Radhakund, 1972. And if you've been there, you know, now, 50 years later, it's a whole different world. But that gives you a flavor of the wonderful, serene, relishable place Prabhupada was leaving. And he gave it to come to New York City, which smells like dog stool, just for us. Next. So it's a long story, but one of the residents of the Radha Damodar temple is a young boy. Now he's passed away. But he said sometimes he would hear someone crying. I mentioned this is where that window is that Prabhupada would look out and see the Bhajan Kutir or the Samadhi. Samadhi's on the other side. Bhajan Kutir, yeah, Samadhi's on the other side. Of Rupa Goswami. This is a murti of Rupa Goswami. And now he's passed away, but he was a young boy at the time. And he would hear someone, middle of the night, crying in this courtyard. And he would look out the window, and there would be Srila Prabhupada sweeping and crying. And he asked, as a young boy, it's a long story, he asked Prabhupada, you know, why are you crying? He said that my guru has given me an impossible mission. That's go to the West and deliver the message of Krishna. He was thinking, how will I do it? Next. So he also, it's another story, but Rupa Goswami, one of the heads of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission, one of his disciples, actually appeared to him. And it's confirmed by a number of sources. It's not just wishful thinking. It has multiple independent witnesses of the event. And this is Rupa Goswami appearing to Prabhupada, one of the chief disciples of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, 500 plus years ago, appearing to Srila Prabhupada. And he said to Prabhupada, write these books. You go to the West, you write these books, you go to the West, and we will take care of everything else. So it's a precursor of how Prabhupada all alone, what happened. Now we're going to get into that next. So this is in China. Now China, we cannot go out in dhotis and kurtas and, you know, monks' robes with drums and kartals and chant in Tiananmen Square. Well, you know, we'll be arrested. But still, well, next. This is the man who, under Prabhupada's order, went to China and opened it up. You could not travel freely in China. You had to take a government minder with you and go on an official tour. You could see the Great Wall of China, the Forbidden City, you know. And that was it. You couldn't roam around, no way. The only way you could move freely is if you had a business visa, and you had to be sponsored by a big, well-known company. Tamal Krishna, it's a long story, but this gentleman, Tamal Krishna, he had to be in Western dress, went into China with an assistant. The assistant's father was the chairman of Seagram's Liquors. And they went in as salesmen for Seagram's whiskey and liquor. And they could travel all over the country because they had a business visa. Tamal said, you know, drinking intoxication, the holy name, sublime spiritual intoxication. Well, maybe, you know, we can pull it off. The first disciple, he was thinking, I mean, people were saying instead of Hari Rama, they were saying Hari Lama. You know, it was tough. The only way they could have outreach was everybody wanted to learn English. English was the language of the business world. You could go to any public park, stand on a box, speak English, and you get a crowd of 100, a couple hundred, because they wanted to practice learning English. So that's how they started preaching Bhagavad Gita and so many different things. Still, it was tough. And Tamal was wondering, this monk, there is monk dress, here he is in China. He was wondering, will it ever work? Same thing, impossible mission. So a man came from Hong Kong. It came from mainland China to Hong Kong. We had a nice temple. It was still under the British. We had and we still have a very active temple in Hong Kong. So this man came from mainland China. He'd gotten a copy of Prabhupada's Gita, and he'd taken everything up. He'd become a vegetarian, Krishna Prasadam, offering to Krishna, chanting japa, studying Gita, and he asked Tamal, how do I get initiated by a bona fide spiritual master? You know what his name was? Now, in English, I'm sure our names, English names sound funny in Chinese. So, been too fat or who flung dung or so what, This, I swear to you, the first initiated devotee in China by this Tamal Krishna Goswami. His name was Hyu, H-Y-U, Chan, C-H-A-N, last name Ting, T-I-N-G. Said quickly, Yu Chan Ting. So Tamal said, all right, it's in your hands, Krishna. They just chant the holy name, it's going to work. Next. So we'll move on in just a sec. But these are installed beautiful Gaur Nitai deities, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda. This is, don't advertise it, but this is our first and only temple with installed deities. We have many preaching centers. They look like ordinary buildings. But we have Sunday feasts, there's thousands. I don't know the number, but I think it's around 3,000 to 4,000 initiated devotees in mainland China. Many of our monks, they go in Western dress and they're preaching. Next. That's a close-up of their beautiful Chinese Gaur Nitai. Next. They do retreats. They rent a hall, say they're having a birthday party or it's a wedding anniversary or something, and they rent retreats. They've got hundreds of people. And this way, you can't keep a good person down. Where there's a will, there's a way. Next. They also do preaching, Krishna outreach, in Buddhist monasteries. This is one of the top monks in this monastery with over 1,000 monks. These are our ISKCON devotees here. And he said, praising the devotees, he said, we hide in the mountains. We're reclusive. And you're going out into the cities where the people are living. He appreciated. So we're active in China. Next. This is Hong Kong. I mentioned that. They do the Rath Yatra at nighttime. If you've ever been to Hong Kong, this business section, the shopping section, thousands and thousands of people. It's on the other side of the harbor. It's Kowloon section. So here we are with Rath Yatra in the main busiest section of Hong Kong. Next. Here's some Chinese devotees at that Rath Yatra. So we're in China. We've got 2 restaurants. We got you covered. We've actually got 2 restaurants in Hong Kong, and I don't know how many. If you go into China, you let us know. We'll put you in touch. Next. So now we've just gone to the other side of the world. This is Slovakia. Used to be one country, Czechoslovakia. Now it's Czech Republic and Slovakia. Nobody can get along. Prabhupada said about the United Nations, all they're really doing is putting up more flags. It's the disunited nations. Next. So it's got a population of, 4.5 million roughly. This is our temple, and these are the devotees in Czechoslovakia. Next. Slovakia. We have 3 restaurants in the capital. We have 25,000 guests a year come to our temple in, Bratislavia or whatever it is. And also many, many devotees from the Ukraine have taken shelter. We have a farm, you'll see that in a minute. So they've got shelter. But this is our restaurant, Slovakia. Next. Now we've moved to the Czech Republic. 10.5 million. This is the skyline of Czechoslovakia. Next. This is our temple in Prague. Turns out that Prague is the fifth most visited capital in Europe. Why does that matter? Next. Here's our Ratha Yatra in the summertime in Prague. They get over 8 million tourists per year, and here we are, right in the middle of the mix with a beautiful Ratha Yatra. Next. This is our Czech farm, 90 adults, 31 families, 50 children, 26 household, little houses, 12 cows, 6 oxen. Next. This is how much this is an apple press for making apple juice. What is it? 10,680 liters. You can read it there. Milk, grain, flour, vegetables, apple juice, honey. That's just 90 devotees, and that includes kids, what they're able to produce. You have a little land and some cows, and you work hard, you can feed yourself no problem. Instead of, can't eat nuts and bolts. You can't, and nobody's going to threaten you that they're going to downsize you. Next. This is Finland. I mean, I don't know how many of you, I would have to look and think twice. Something going on over there? How many of you can put Finland on a map? This is some heritage, some famous in Finnish history. It was falling into dilapidation, too much to maintain, and we bought it. This is our temple in Finland. Next. 90,000 books have been distributed in the last 10 years, and they have other centers in these other 2 places. Next. Now, this is just for fun. This is not that we're sleeping here. This is the facade for the LA temple. It's Rajasthani style. It's all going to be carved stone. They're going to the planning commission for permission, and they're moving forward. So this will be for Rukmini Dwarkadish, a genuine temple. It'll look like Dwarka. Next. And just for fun, this is the current temple, and this is beautiful Rukmini Dwarkadish. The whole outfit and crowns are all made of flowers. Anyway, next. And just for fun, this is the LA Ratha Yatra. Many of us were actually there. Next. This is in New Orleans, not outside New Orleans, in Mississippi. It's in, what is the place called? Carrere, Mississippi? Yeah, it's in the middle of nowhere. And we have a beautiful farm and a nice temple. Next. This is Bhakti Vedanta Manor. This is the temple that was purchased by George Harrison for the devotees. Next. Maybe some of you recognize this lady with a hat and her consort. We have our own school funded by the UK government. They're smart. They fund religious schools because they don't want all the kids going to madrasis, in the Muslim section and becoming, turned into fanatics. So if you teach a Western curriculum, you can also have your religious services and stuff like that. But, you've got to be, so people become acculturized, if that's a word, to the local culture and not just stay, sectioned and fanatic. So this was built, but these are our Krishna Balaram temple, our deities. You'll see the temple in a minute. But this is the students. They're all devotees, nice tilak, chanting Hare Krishna, learning Bhagavad Gita. So they're reciting Gita verses to the queen and her consort. Next. This is the devotee who got all this off the ground. His name is Naveen Krishna. arrange the government funding over, and he's talking to the queen. Now, what the kids were chanting at that moment was from the Shikshastikam, which is by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and it's Trinadapi Sunichena as the Bengali or Sanskrit. And it means, what is the ethos of being a devotee? Feeling oneself lower than the straw in the street, more tolerant than a tree, ready to offer all respects to others, not expecting any respect for oneself. That's the mood of a devotee. So when he translated for her, for the queen, she said, well, wouldn't that be just grand? So Bhakti Liz, there she is. Next. This is the school. It's all built to Leeds environmental standard. And this is the temple, Krishna Balaram. And the queen was sitting right here. Next. Okay, it's not just in the past. This is King Charles's installation, a coronation. They had different, this is the head of the Sufis. This is the head of the certain sect of Muslim. So they had the leaders of different religious communities participating in the coronation of the king. Now, coronation, modern politics, that's not our business. But the point is that's the level of respect. Here is Vishaka Mataji, the president of our temple, Bhaktivedanta Manor, and is an honored guest at the coronation of the king. So the tradition is going on of respect. Next. They do far out things. They have a website. It's called Think at Urban Monk. And they ask different questions, timeless meditation. They get something like 10,000 hits per month. Those are people who want to move, try a month or a weekend as a monk and ask questions. It's very lively. Next. Now we've moved to Hungary. This is Hungary. This is Budapest. This is our temple in Budapest. Next. This is their big Ratha Yatra. One of the big, I don't know why, but one of the biggest tourist sites in Hungary is the chain bridge. It goes over the Danube. And here is our Ratha Yatra going right over the famous chain bridge. Next. This is our farm. This is the sign. It's by a place you've never heard of, probably, called Lake Boltron. It's the biggest freshwater lake in Europe. Thousands, 100,000, 200,000 people go to Lake Boltron to vacation. After a couple days, everybody's sunburned, the husband's fighting with the wife, the kids are bored. Our temple is no more than an hour drive. Our temple and our farm. So this is on the main road to Lake Boltron. And this is a blow-up. It says Krishna Valley. Next. So this is the entrance to our temple. This is the receptionary. Next. This is it's all self-sustained. These are all devotee houses. You'll get some figures. We got to roll on. Next. This man he was teaching chemistry at the top university in Hungary. He retired. He's now our beekeeper. I asked him, I said, did you ever work with bees before? He said, never. He said, but there's a quick learning curve if you work with bees. You make a mistake, they sting you. You don't do that again. So next. But all of this is their temple room. They get, I forget what the number is, but it's over 100,000 people in the 3 months of the warm weather season coming to Lake Boltron, burn out, and they come visit us. I mean, they get all kinds of far-out people. All of this is Janmashtami. All of these dishes, 108 different courses, everything except the rice and some of the spices were grown on our own farm. Next. And these are the beautiful deities there, Radhashama Sundar. Prabhupada said the deities, you should dress them so they look like they're about to dance off the altar. And Prabhupada said you should always dress Radharani a little more beautiful than Krishna. Prabhupada said, that way she'll never leave. Next. So this is Prabhupada in Russia. Next. When Prabhupada, this is 75, something like that, maybe it was earlier, Prabhupada went to Russia in the winter. He met a big professor there, the head of, so many things happened. But what Prabhupada saw, all these people lined up. So Prabhupada said, why are they lined up? Shyama said, Prabhupada, they're going to see Lenin's tomb. If you were in Russia in those days, like Christians go to Jerusalem, Muslims go to Mecca, we go to Vrindavan. If you were a communist, you went to see Lenin's tomb. So when they informed Prabhupada, you can see this long line trudging through frigid Russian weather to see Lenin's tomb. Prabhupada said, you know why they're going to see him? Prabhupada said, to make sure he's dead. Which I thought was pretty funny. Next. So now this is just a sample. I think Russia is 7 time zones, 9 time zones. I think maybe 7, but whatever it is, it's a huge geographical side. So we're just going to take one area. This is the Ural region. This is a map of Russia. This is part of Russia. They're at next. So they distribute so many books. Okay, somebody gets a book. Like you can plant a seed. Is that sufficient to plant a seed? It's necessary. It's essential. But it's not sufficient. What else has to happen? You got to water it, you got to give it sun, you got to fertilize, you got to protect it. So they have a whole system that takes someone from when they get a book all the way along through learning ethics, morals, daily lifestyle, all the way up to how to worship Krishna. Next. So they have once you get a book, they get your name, public programs. This, it's Russian translated into English. Faculty of Social Programs. They show people how to live. They give marriage counseling, how to raise kids, so many different things. Then they have Vaishnava faculty, which means you associate with the devotees, you learn how to serve Krishna, and then you become an initiated. Whoa, well, that's okay. You become an initiated full-time devotee, So they have a whole system. It's fantastic. And that's just one section. Okay, next. And this is Radha Govinda in Omsk. I kind of like the name, Omsk. So they have Radha Krishna deity. So next. Now this is also in that. This is just one section of the 7 time zone Russia. This is a beautiful Rath Yatra they put on. They put on 9 Rath Yatras this size all over Russia. 3 of them are in Moscow alone. Next. So this is ISKCON Brazil. Well, we're not going to ignore Sudamarica. So 9 urban temples, 5 retreats, and farms. Next. It's called Pandava Paradise. It's on the Atlantic side, right on the edge of the Amazon. It's beautiful. This is on our grounds. This is a swimming, warm water, no piranha fish, waterfall. This is the entrance into the temple compound. Next. This is on a festival day, Brazilian devotees and guests chanting Hare Krishna. Yaya, Yaya, Prabhupada. No, they're Portuguese. So next. This is just, you can see from one of the meditation points on our farm, all the way, that's the Atlantic Ocean. So it gives you, they do retreats, seminars, so many things there. Yoga, vegetarian cooking, so they use it a lot. Next. Now we're going to Peru. Next. This is our temple. It looks like a Bengali-style temple, all built by local devotees in Peru. It's in the foothills of the Andes. Next. This is Mexico City, Rath Yatra. I think they also have a Rath Yatra in Guadalajara. Next. Now we've switched to, I just want to give you a sampling of around the world. This is, where are we? This is Myanmar. Used to be called Burma. So Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, you get an idea where you are. It's 54 million people. It's a large country. It is very strict Buddhist. If you're not a Buddhist, you're in trouble. It's a whole story. Next. That's just a sample. And it's like this on practically every hill. Once you get outside the cities, has beautiful stupas. They're actually, this is meant to look like an arti bell. It's sitting on a stand and it's a bell. Next. So because Burma, Myanmar, used to be part of India, and because Indian businessmen would sail across the Bay of Bengal to Burma, and then you can travel up the Irrawaddy River. It's a huge river. You could travel all the way up into China, and then you'd be 2 days caravan from the Yangtze River, and you could sail all the way down the Yangtze River through China to the Pacific. So it was a very busy trade route, and the Indian businessmen built temples. Now, it's a whole story, but when Myanmar got independent, they gave all the business and government grants and commissions and everything to the local Burmese Myanmar people, Buddhist people. And the Indians were iced out. So a lot of these temples that were supported by Indian businessmen, they're abandoned. Or there's, one old priest hanging on, his kids have all gone to computer school, and it's going to die out. They give us, I'll finish. They gave us 9 different temples, beautiful temples. I've just got one sample here. They got to be so many they were giving it. We said we can't take any more. We can't staff them. They would, if we would take care of the deities, they would give us the temple. And so, after what, we can't take care of 20, 30 temples. We don't have the staff. But so we've got 9 beautiful temples. So this is an old one. This is the outside. It's a Sita Ram temple. It's right across the river from downtown Yangon. And it's a beautiful, it's where all the embassies and stuff, It's first class location. So this was given to us. Next. And this is the inside. It is Sita Ram. And we have a Ganesh here, I think, and on my glass. And this is Buddha. And Prabhupada said in a Buddhist country, we can worship Buddha. He's a Das avatar. That's a whole story. But this is the inside they've renovated. Just because it's so much fun. There was an Indian businessman. His whole family was going to hell. His oldest son had become an alcoholic. His daughter was going to discos all the time. The wife was a pious Hindu and devotee. She was going to divorce him. He was drinking. The whole family was a mess. The founder, that's a whole other, I'll do a slideshow on Burma someday, on Myanmar. But the father met the first devotee in Burma. His name is Srivas Pandit. Met him. Srivas Pandit completely turned the family into devotees. The father, stopped drinking. The eldest son took responsibility for the business. The daughter married a nice Vaishnava. Mother was happy. Whole family turned around. Out of gratitude, this businessman had just purchased a ruby mine. Burma's very rich, gold, jade, rubies. It's a fantastic soil. It's quite an opulent country, actually. Anyway, he promised Srivas Pandit, the owner of this ruby mine. It had been mined out. It was only all they could find was small diamonds, small rubies, industrial rubies. They used them in those scanners, for inventory and shop prices and stuff like that. So He promised, he said, the first ruby I find when we reopen the mind, I'll donate to the temple. He thought it would be, a little chip, 2,000-3,000 max, whatever. They opened it, they mined it. The first ruby they found was the size of a golf ball. The guy didn't want to give it. The wife said, it's a death knell. You promised Krishna, you don't. So with that ruby, they sold that ruby. It sits, I think it was about $250,000. It sits in a trust account. And with that trust account, they now are renovating over time all of these old temples. And many of them are, one is like a Jaipuri style, from the Rajasthan, Jaipur. It's got a marble kitchen, half the size of this temple. It's all marble. It's got a freshwater well right in the kitchen. I mean, it's unbelievable. Okay, next. But still, this is the interior they've renovated. Next. This is a temple they're building in Myitkyina. It's up by China. It's up in the northeast corner. It's beautiful. It's all teak wood inside. Next. So, but still, it's a heavy Buddhist country. You could only, if you do outreach to the Hindus, because there's still a Hindu community left there, that's okay. But you convert a Buddhist, it's like, doing the same thing in Saudi Arabia. They close your temple and ship you out. You can't do it. Still, they were encouraged, you've got to reach the locals. The Hindu population is, 1%, I think 7% of the population. What about the local people? So what they do is they rent halls in a fancy hotel. I'll show you. Next. He's a doctor. This is Rashik Sakar Prabhu. You know him. He's a super nice person. So he puts on seminars. Bhagavad Gita, India's timeless wisdom. Give him an innocuous but intriguing title. Next. This is his first graduating class. They're Muslim, they're Hindu, they're Buddhist. You can see the different dress. This is Burmese dress. And they're graduates from the course. Here is Rashik Shekhar and his wife, who's a fantastic cook. Next. Here's another one of the graduating classes. So he's doing 1 or 2 classes, 6 to 8 weekends in Bhagavad Gita. And they're making devotees hand over fist. So where there's a will, there's a way. Next. Now, in 3 Ratha Yatras a year, they have to get a permit to do it, but they do a nice big Ratha Yatra, 3 of these a year. That's in Myanmar. This is Bhagavad Gita and first canto Bhagavatam in Burmese. Next. Now we've moved to Australia. There's so many things I could say about Australia, but I'm keeping an eye. We're running out of time. Next. This is a traveling prasadam cart. And everything folds up and they tow it with a truck. It's, the thunder down under. Next. That's the inside. It's in sleep mode. That's when they're, just getting set up. They go to rock concerts, so many different things. It's busy it makes a ton of money. Next. Here it is. They put up a pandal tent in back. This is where is it? This is the window where they order on the outside. Then they pick up their order inside, and here they are. It's packed full of people all the time. So many things you can do for Krishna. Next. So this is Indonesia, the world's largest Muslim country. 250 million people. We're right in there. Next. This is our temple in Bali. We have 4 temples in Bali. Looks Burmese, doesn't it? I mean, Indonesian. Next. Here's a beautiful Radha Krishna deities. Next. We're going to zip through these. This is book distribution. This is a girls' college. The army, one general, ordered 2,000 Bhagavad Gitas for every one of his soldiers. Anyway, you got an idea. Next. Here's the number of devotees, so many things. 250 plates of prasadam every day from Jakarta. Next. Just for fun, there's only one reason I showed that. We're in Japan, we have a rest. Next. We do Harinam and book distribution. This is the busiest pedestrian intersection in the world, downtown Tokyo. And they're the devotees. You can't see them, but they're chanting back here. Next. This is our temple right here, purchased with the help of the Indian community. It's got guest rooms, restaurant, beautiful Radha Krishna deities. This is the reason I included this. Next. This is Srimati Radharani in a kimono, in traditional Japanese dress. She looks so sweet. Isn't that cool? Next. So this is Israel. Next. We're going to power through. 11 Bhakti Vrikshas, that's, home programs, home centers where people come together every Sunday and have a program. 11 of them, 300 initiated devotees, 10,000 books distributed in the last 10 years. Next. This is Africa, over 2,000 languages. Next. These are the offices. This says Bhaktivedanta Book Trust Africa. We're pumping out the books in South Africa, in Africa. Next. Now, he's coming back in Zulu and another one of those 2,000 languages. Next. Here's happy recipients of our books. And they also, these guys, he's holding an invitation to our temple in Durban, South Africa. This guy looks like he just ate a gulab jamun. So do you think they're going to the Sunday feast this Sunday? No question about it. They're making a beeline. So all over the world. Next. Do you know even where Botswana is? Botswana is, I've got it, here it is. It's a landlocked country, famous for diamonds. Here's South Africa. Check it out. That's our temple in Botswana. Most people don't even know where it is. We have a beautiful Radha Krishna temple. The locals call it the wedding cake temple because it looks like a fancy wedding cake. Next. This is our temple of Vedic planetarium. Prabhupada's, it's a planetarium, and they're going to be one of the largest Hindu temples in the world. Next. Just for fun. It started off like this. This is the straw hut that Prabhupada stayed in. It leaked. Prabhupada put the deities on the part that didn't leak. He and Tamal Krishna Maharaj stayed on the part of this little shed that leaked. So Prabhupada, the great devotee of Krishna. This is our first building. This is the Lotus building. Nothing's here. You could hear a radio 8 miles away. Next. Now, this is not an animation. This is a picture in that same place, in those rice fields, of the Temple of Vedic Planetarium. This is, anyway, it's a whole thing. This is, inside here is a chandelier, huge size, that explains the entire universe according to Vedic teaching. It can explain eclipses, every astronomical phenomena that modern astrophysicists, record. It can also explain according to the 5th canto by the genius Sariputta. So, and this is a temple for Lord Nrsingadev. Prabhupada said he should have his own temple. He's a little fiery. And this is a Vedic planetarium, IMAX movies, so many things. So it's opening soon. We don't know. Send money. Next. So this is a drone's view. This is the TOVP. This is Prabhupada's Samadhi. This is the Mother Ganga. Next. And this is the Vedic city coming up. It's all built according to Vastu Silpa Shastra, the master plan area. Next. And this is that rotating chandelier. Next. And anyway, this is just to give you your bearings. Here's the conch building. Here's anyway, you got an idea. Next. So now we're going to We're going to go a few minutes over, but you'll be all right. So this is Govardhan Hill. Next. This is a Deva's view of the famous Govardhan. Giridhari Krishna lifted it. Next. This is a view. This is our retreat center. All of this just opened. This is the main auditorium. These are all classrooms. Over here is the residential area. Next. This is the main hall entrance. Next. It just opened. This is a side view of the main hall. Next. This is looking off the stage. This is looking when the hall's empty onto the stage. But we have our own retreat center right there at Govardhan in Vrindavan. Next. This is the dining hall. Prabhupada said, no function is complete without the distribution of prasadam. Next. Then we're going to go to Kazakhstan. We're getting to the end. In case you need to know where, here's Russia. Here's Turkey, Iran, you got the China. This is Kazakhstan. We had a beautiful farm built by Bibi Govinda, one of our senior monks. The brother-in-law of the premier of Kazakhstan used to drive past it to his own farm, became envious, and just took it over. We lost the whole thing. You can't keep devotees down. Next. Here we've started, this is our new center, devotee community in Kazakhstan. Off the main road, I might add, lest any envious person cast their glance. Next. This is another angle. It's going into the mountains. This is our temple building. Next. Back. Go back. These are all devotee houses. This whole thing is devotee community. Next. There's beautiful temple gardens. Next. So now Gita Nagari. Gita Nagari, we're back to the U.S., we're in Pennsylvania. You know, farms struggle, our ISKCON farms, because devotees, you know, cabin fever, you're out there on the farm, you don't mix with people, you're just working all day long. It can get a little dry, and people can get, you know, cabin fever. And they don't have a local community to support them. So what to do? Devamrita Maharaj was put in charge of Gita Nagari. Next. Is beautiful Radha Damodar, the deities there. Next, who have a long history. The genius Devamrita Maharaj made connection with a couple different universities. These are students from Penn State that they could, you know, they're getting degrees in biodiversity and agriculture and, you know, sustainable development and everything. He told them, why don't you come out and visit a real farm that's growing its own food, that is, you know, developing self-sustainability. You can come, you can, you know, work-study courses, and it took off like a rocket. So here's just one example. These are all students from Penn State, weekend volunteers. Next, you can sign up at Gita Nagari and get a certified, I forget who the, you know, but it's one of the top organic gardening organizations, and you can get a certification in organic gardening by serving at Gita Nagari. This is another group here, work-study program from Penn State. Here's all the students. The professor is in here somewhere. This is the professor. Next. So the whole place is turned around because of two devotees surrendered to the order of their guru. This is Dhruva Prabhu. He was literally a nuclear engineer. He was running an atomic energy plant in South Africa. Never been, he said he didn't know which end was the right end to milk of a cow. He'd never been on a farm in his life. This is his equally qualified better half, Parijata. She was a top executive. She was in charge of FedEx South Africa. Happy, successful commercial life. Their guru said, please, I need help. go to Gita Nagari and turn the place around. They surrendered to the order of their Guru Maharaj, and they succeeded. Next. So we're almost done. This is Mongolia. It's not very, this is what is Ultabangor or something is the name of the capital. I mean, you know, pretty depressing place, Stalinistic design. Next. It's the home of Genghis Khan, you know, hundreds of years ago. It's, anyway, next. 3 and a third million. This is Bhakti Vaibhav Maharaj. He's in charge of one of the things of, he's in charge of Mongolia. And these are all Mongolian devotees. Who would have thought? Next. This is their current temple in Ulaanbaatar, the capital. Next. Notice the traditional instrument. Here's the Hare Krishna mantra in Mongolese, or whatever the language is called. Next. Here's the Sunday feast crowd. Next. Now, we've got official permission. We're registered as a society. We've got permission to build this temple. The only request was that the exterior, because they were so oppressed by Russians trying to, you know, the Moscow and the Soviet, that their culture was almost killed. So they said, you can build a nice temple, but it's got to be Mongolian design. So this is the design of the temple, Mongolian style temple, Chinese Buddhist. It's a pretty picture, but will it ever happen? Next. This is another angle of the Mongolian temple. Next. Here's the actual construction going on. This is that as we speak, this building, temple in Mongolia, is coming up. Next. So this is just for fun. We had our meeting in Houston. This is the Houston temple. Beautiful temple. Next. Here's the deities, Radha Nila Madhava, and they are big. Everything's big in Texas. Next. Now, this is the summation. Picture Srila Prabhupada all alone in the Radha Damodar temple, being given a mission that's impossible. All alone, old age, no help, no support, poor health. But faith in the order of his Guru Maharaj, got on a boat, I forget, 6,000 miles, so many things, and started, and now this movement. When Prabhupada got off the boat in New York, he said he didn't know whether to turn left or to turn right. Nothing. I got a whole show on that. I'll show sometime. And then here, a few years later, 12 years later, something like that, here is Prabhupada sailing down Fifth Avenue. Prabhupada said the most important street in the most important city. Will be a minute. It's all right. The world will turn. So here is Prabhupada coming down Fifth Avenue. It's something amazing. After being practically a beggar, he said. Next. So from these humble beginnings, next. Prabhupada saw this sign in a hardware store. We cover the world. This is Sherwin-Williams Paint, and they're pouring they're an international company, paint company. We cover the world. Prabhupada saw this sign and said, this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. So you are part of this. We are, by Krishna's grace and Prabhupada's determination and the service of wonderful devotees around the world, we got you covered. Wherever you go, we're there ahead of you. We got a temple and a restaurant and deities waiting for you. It's the most wonderful thing. Next. So this is all due to Srila Prabhupada. So you can help us. You can help your local temple. You can put your shoulder to the wheel. You can cut potatoes for the Sunday feast. And that is pushing this worldwide movement forward. Doesn't matter what you do. But instead of living a life of just treading water, why not do something wonderful? Why not put your shoulder to the wheel and push forward the Hare Krishna movement? Because it is something wonderful for everyone. Thank you very much. I'm sorry we went over a little bit of time. Thank you. Hare Krishna. So we can hit